Hi there, welcome to this week's Pick a Card reading, which is an important message from your ancestors. I'm Sekkat from Seqkat'sEnlightenment.com, and I'm glad and thankful to have you here with me. Now, many of us may be aware, or may be unaware, that we do have ancestors that do watch over us, along with spirit guides and our higher self as well. And our ancestors really do try to guide us and help us along. And these ancestors could be just as far back as a loved one that you know that's crossed over the other side, or maybe like a grandparent that's crossed over the other side that you didn't meet, or a great-grandparent, or it could even go further back. So we have more help than we can even begin to know when we're on this side, because sometimes we're just not aware and can't see it, or haven't tuned in and found out. So this is an important message from an ancestor that they know that can best help you. So go ahead now and look at the cards and tune in to which one is calling you. It's kind of interesting. I was going to use the Spirit Cat cards for this, but when I was shuffling, after I tuned the cards for you, it's the Ancestors and Angel Oracle cards that started jumping out. I was like, okay, we're going with these. So here we are with them. Now go ahead and tune in. And the first card is also accompanied with the Rose Quartz crystal, and the second card with an Amethyst crystal, and the third card has a Smokey Quartz crystal. So you may be drawn to one of the crystals that's calling to you, or tune in for the card. You can always take a slow, deep belly breath to help align your ego with your higher self, to help you tune in. You may find your eyes falling on the same one. You can always look to the wall and look back and see if your eyes fall back to the same one. Sometimes you can take a deep breath, ask your higher self, close your eyes, and you will see that one come back to your mind. By all means, use whatever works for you when tuning in. And if you need a longer time than I'm affording you here, by all means, pause the video. And once you've chosen your card, you can either look at the bottom of the video and choose the chapter that matches the first, second, and third card with the matching crystals, or you can go down into the description box below and find the corresponding timestamps. Okay, I will meet you at your crystal. Okay, welcome. If you chose the Rose Quartz crystals for this week's Pick a Card reading, an important message from your ancestor. Now keep in mind, this is a general reading, so I have this tuned to many of you and your unique relative realities. So tune in to what is in alignment with your particular story. Okay, so for our first one, we have here, for your theme card, the Shield Maiden. Make plans and focus. Okay, so when we got the Shield Maiden coming in, and we've got a few things going on. First, the Vikings, the male and the females were considered equal, and the females could go into battle just as well as the males. So some impression I'm picking up here is there's an equality, a balance of the masculine and feminine energy. So you could be the masculine energy with a lot of fight in you, with something going on around right now, and they're asking you to tune it down a little bit and tune more into your sensitive side. Or you could be a feminine energy that's being extra sensitive, that is being called forth for the warrior within you to step up into the warrior side. That could be being a calling too. Also, with that feminine energy, we're talking about strategy, making plans and moving forward with a strategy. So instead of just bashing in as a warrior without any plans, warriors make their plans. They've got a battlefield, their strategy. So there may be some situation that you've got going in your life right now that you need to take a pause, a moment, and make some plans and get a strategy. And I definitely would tune in and ask your guides, which could be your ancestors as well, for help in making the best guidance for you, what is in your best, highest good and alignment. And also the Shield Maidens, they are protective because they would work together. So this card would be talking about working together with others, and they would form all of their shields as a protective barrier. So some of you might be in need of some protection here, are working together with others. So just tune in to how these scenarios fit your story. So I'm now going to go ahead and pull up the first row of tarot. And then after I pull up that row, I will immediately pull up your clarifying row and then read the cards for you. So last week, I changed, well, the last two readings, I changed up the strategy of reading the cards together like that. And I also added something new for you, if you didn't catch last week or if you haven't been back. Should their mistakes happen, which I'm sure they will, they usually do, I'm starting to add a few little outtakes at the end, so you can find that timestamp as well. If you would like a few little laughs with Sekkat, or maybe add Sekkat with me being completely human. Oh boy, we've got plenty of cards here. More than plenty. They have a lot to say. Okay, that's okay. We're here. Alrighty, now that is your first row. Now let's get your clarifying row, and then I will read for you. And as I shuffle the clarifying row, I always like to take this moment to pause and give a big shout out to all of my subscribers. I love you so much, and I'm so thankful for you. We already have one that's shuffled, flipped over here. And I'm going to give a big welcome to my new subscribers. We'll find it. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm glad to have you here with me. I want to say a big thank you to all of your likes, your comments, your subscribes, your bell notifications, because all of that helps me in the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much. That means the world to me, because you're helping me serve more, helping me grow my channel. I'm so grateful for that. And also I want to give a big thanks to all the comments. I really enjoy those, because I'm over here reading in the dark for so many of you as a general reading. And so I love to hear your unique relative story and how the cards correspond with you. So those are just a little delight for me. So thank you for those. Okay, so we've got 3 more cards. And if we don't find that flipped over card, that's okay. It might show up in the next reading, so just can't. Alright. So we need 2 more. Also, if you need a personal reading, I do those, and you can find the links to those in the description box below. Just 2 more. Let me shuffle. Oh, there's one. There we go. One. See if we can get him less. One more. There we go. Okay. I'll peek and see if that other one that flipped. If we got it, I might have already got it. Didn't know it. Okay. Alrighty. Let's see here. See what we got going on. Yes, some preparation and strategy. It's already starting there. Your very first card is about preparation. The preparation that you are making now is actually going to lead to your wishes coming true. So make sure you take that step. That's a very important one. And definitely tune into your guidance. Tune into your higher self, your guardian angels, your ancestors. You have ancestors that work on the other side, and they do things to help you out, and they're doing their best to come through. So the preparations that are encouraging you to take right now, the plans, the strategies, not just from your head, tune in, get that spiritual guidance. It's definitely going to lead to your wishes come true, so you definitely want to do that. And we see, okay, some of you are aware, and you are trying to make a decision. So make sure when you make this decision, you make it with that preparation. You make it with that guidance. You really need that. And I see this decision seems to be based on or in correlation to perhaps some perceived lack. I don't know. There's people outside talking. That's unusual. I don't know if you hear them. Hopefully it's not coming through on the camera. I apologize if it is. Some type of decision is being based on some perceived lack. So for some of you, I'm getting, you could be making a job based on, or a decision based on a job or career. And you may be thinking, I want to take that, but I can't because it wouldn't be enough money. Maybe you're trying to go for something that you've really been desiring, but you don't think it's going to be enough. Really tune in, because this is a perceived lack. So the ego may not see and understand how it could make enough. So if you've really been contemplating this, so tune in. This is definitely a fine-tuned message for some of you. But you can't see how it's going to come in, but your higher self does. Your higher self knows. Your ancestors can see it. They're asking you to have trust and faith. Make a plan, make a strategy. You don't have to forego it because you can't see how it's going to come in. It perceived lack. You get that. So that's some of the decision. And it could be in any, so that's for some for the career. Some, it could be a better relationship and a perceived lack of love, or a perceived lack of connection. It could be friendship, family, maybe there's been a discord, or a romantic partnership, friendship, that type of thing. So tune into that as well. Yeah. Tune into that as well. But gosh, I hope you're not hearing all this talking outside. This is very, very, okay. So yes, some of us are not listening to our higher self. You're being called by your ancestors to make a decision, make a plan, but we're kind of following ego. Some of us are, and we're hearing ego's fears, and that's what usually ego does. It makes its plans and strategies out of survival based on fear. So you want to flip this up and definitely heed your higher self and listen to it. And they are calling you to go within and meditate and connect with your higher self and get that guidance. So that is some of that, definitely that preparation that in the plans and strategies they're asking you to make is definitely tune into the higher self. So already kind of getting that, and there it is, right? Definitely reaffirming that. Tune in, get that intuition. Your ancestors are coming in, talking and communicating with your intuition as well. We need to take that time and quiet the ego and quiet the ego's fears so that we can hear the higher self. We can hear the intuition and the guidance that we're getting from the higher realms, from our higher self and from our ancestors to help you tune into that. Yeah, because this is about being who you really are. And when you're making egoic decisions, you're making your egoic decisions from fear. Your thoughts and everything's communicating from fear. You're not tuning into who you really are. Who you really are is an aspect of the divinity that came here to live and play a life through your unique avatar. And your higher self is that part of that divinity, and that is who you really are. The fears are not. The fears are what you pick up with your experience in life. So they are not who you really are. But who you really are, that's what we want to get back to. And see, we're looking at confusion here. We're trying to make a step forward, but we're having confusion when we're not being who we are and we're not hitting our higher self. So we're not making actions and choices from the clarity of our higher self, who knows, and from the clarity of who we really are. And this is what your ancestors are saying. Hey, you've got to tune in and go from there. And it's ego that definitely has that perceived perception, perceived lack that may not really be there. Just because ego can't see how those sources can come in, whatever those resources could be, so it just assumes it's going to be lack. But the higher self knows all. Things come in unique ways. The story just unfolds and we don't know. We have to really surrender to our higher self. So some of us were experiencing some kind of discord that we're trying, that we're done with and we need to walk away from. It could be perhaps some toxicity entering some relationships, and it could be a toxicity with particular people, and it could be the people will stay toxic and you might have to walk away from the people. Or it could be there's circumstances and situations because those people are acting out of their fear. Hello, you're engaged with the situation as well, and you're acting out of your fear. So neither of you or them, or you or whomever, are coming from who you really are, because we're not being who we really are, because this is in reverse. So we really need to move the fears away and find out who we really are, and the toxicity is coming from the fears. So we need to look at what the fears are and heal the fears so we can be who we really are and move forward with that. So that is asking you to do that. And by doing so, that is what would lead you to victory and celebration. So for some of you, it is going to be those people that are going to stay in their fears and they can't turn those fears around and they're stuck and that's just going to cause you toxicity and you're going to walk away from the fears. Others of you, and even if that is the situation, you still need to clean and heal your own fears. Others of you, it's just going to be both parties needing to heal their fears, and then there's going to be victory and celebrations. You got to tune into which of is your stories. You kind of know those type of people. They're kind of stuck and stagnant. They're not going to grow. They are going to stay stuck in your fears. Or you'll know, okay, there are people, if you're at this tarot reading that tells me you're here, you're one that's willing to, sorry, my phone is ringing. I apologize. You're one to be open to personal growth because you're here at this tarot reading. So that tells me something. So you will know who you're dealing with if they are open to, and that'll kind of give you an idea if you need to walk away from the person or if you can both engage in clearing up your fears and move forward from there. Also, while I'm remembering, I am sometimes really bad at remembering the horoscope cards. This one definitely refers to Aquarius. Okay, in reference to that, in case that relates to you in any shape, form, or manner. All right. So yeah, okay, yeah. So you're being called on that new journey, that decision you're making to move forward in a new direction that is taking preparation. But we're timid about this, and this is calling for too, with this coming in reverse, that preparation that needs to be done. And remember, that preparation is what's going to lead you to your wishes coming true. And that preparation is surrendering and tuning in and listening to your higher self so we can get out of that perceived fear that the ego is stuck on, because we're not being ourselves with that ego and we're remaining confused with that ego also. And it's the ego that has brought us on this journey to a place of where we have just hit the defeat and it's been hard and we don't like this place. The good news is where you've landed, it's been difficult, has come to an end. That is the good news. And it can come to an end with you moving forward by tuning into your higher self and being who you really are and heeding the advice of your ancestors by taking those preparatory steps of tuning in with your guidance. That is really there. That's what's really coming in. And remember I told you with the shield maiden too, they work with others for protection. For some of you that are on that path of you're engaged in a situation with other people that are open to growing, that would be working with them. You're both acknowledging your fears and facing them and working with your fears and healing that. That's going to go back to that. That's going to refer back to that card. Okay. Also, a couple ways with this one. All right. So we've got the moon card coming in here. So this is about healing your intuition. And we've got the 2 of Cups. So yeah, for some of you, this reading is about a harmonic relationship of some type. Could be romantic with being cups. It could be a partnership of some type. It could be a partner in business. It could be a partner in a hobby. It could be a partner in friendship. We need to heed our intuition, and the intuition is going to be feeding back to listening to our higher self for this to come through. We really need to tune. We also might need to pause. If you can kind of see, if you get there, it's kind of hard to see, but it's standing over water. We might need to pause and reflect over our emotions, because when we're upset and we're listening to our ego, our emotions are taking over us and they're guiding us. Validate those emotions. Your emotions are true. You might have stories running through your mind here. It could be true, or they could not be true. You need to kind of look into those and see what is, and tuning to your higher self will help you. But we need to work with those emotions so those emotions are not running us, and we're showing up in a relationship with toxicity because our emotions are overreacting. We need to get those emotions calmed down and figure out what our core fears are. Your core fear. You got a story going on. What is the core fear behind the story that's causing this riffraff with these other people? What is your core fear? And if there's someone that you can work with, find out what their core fear and go, this layer of this story, or whatever it looks like, it's just a layer. My core fear of this is this. What is your core fear? And then you can move forward there. So we want to look at those reflections, kind of what is hidden, and that's the core fear. We want to look at that. That's going to help you bring that relationship and that partnership back into the harmony that you're seeking. So that's going to really feed back to those of you that are working with others that can be open to growing and moving forward. And walking away from the actual toxicity in the relationship, not the relationship itself. Okay, so here, card. Yeah, some of you have felt very trapped, and you haven't been asking for that help from the higher realm, from your higher self, from your ancestors, from your guides. And that has really made you very trapped. And some of you are choosing to do is to withdraw from people, but you're over isolating. Been there, done that. And when you over isolate, it can kind of remove you from the people, but then like this fear of people is there. And the problem with that is you're getting away from people. Great, so solution, right? No, because the problem with that is we're social creatures, and so we are not at our greatest thrival. We are not at our best by over isolating from too many people. To be balanced and healthy and happy, we have to engage with some people. Even if you're an introvert, engaging with some people is important, and spending some time with people is important. So we really need to look at that. We really need to seek that help in that trap, asking that guidance, asking that higher self, asking your guides, asking your angels, asking your ancestor to help you with that feeling of entrapment, and to help you with that wanting to over isolate, and help you heal whatever part of you is fearful of those people that's causing you to over isolate. I understand that one. It's really difficult. This one also is reflective of Virgo, and I missed this one for the moon, Pisces. I'm sorry, I try to skip that if that is in reference to any of you. If it's not, it's okay. Just look for the meaning of the card. All right. So yeah, they're also asking you to have trust and have faith, and that's hard to do. Interesting. When we have all these fears going on, because I mean, look at this little kitty cat. It's got little birdies sitting on it, and that's having pure faith and trust. And you know, usually birds can't trust kitty cats because the sun is shining, and when the sun is shining, that means that everything is working out in your highest good and alignment. But it's in reverse. Still means everything is working out in your highest good and alignment. But the ego cannot believe that. So the ego is struggling with the belief there. All we got to do is really surrender to the higher self. That's the plan. Your plan and strategy is to go back to your guidance of your higher self. Your higher self knows what it's doing. Go back to your spiritual guidance. They are here to help you. Thankfully, we have a spirit team to help us on planet Earth, because planet Earth can be challenging. And yeah, you're being called to move into a direction of something that your heart is calling for. And it is right for you. And you're working on a decision, but there's a fear of a lack here. And remember that preparation and tuning into your higher self is what's going to bring your wishes come true. And this is telling you too, moving on that path is going to bring you to your heart wishes. And we have the moon card again. You got to heed your intuition to do that. And some things are hidden from you, because what's hidden from you is the ego can't see the future. Well, if I take that step, is everything going to be safe and secure? And that holds it back, and it can't see that. Your higher self can see everything's going to work out for you. So that's going to go back to having faith and trusting the higher self that everything's going to work out in your highest good and alignment. And right now you're not trusting that. So that's the strength we're calling on. Oh, and call Leo. This one's a reference to Leo, my bad. So that's what we're looking at. Flipping these two over. Understanding everything's working out highest good and alignment just by trusting and having faith in your higher self. The ego is really stuck on wanting to know how the story unfolds. But what makes the story interesting is not knowing. That's what we came here to do. That's why we came here, to explore, to do exactly that. But it gets really scary for ego once you get into the story and has gone through some pains and it has a hard time trusting that. Oh yeah, and so we've gone to some like really righteous defense. Communing with some people that are not exactly of our vibe tribe. So some of us are in this situation, and that's going to feed back to those of you. I said some of you can't work this out with some people because they're not open, they're just stagnant, they're not going to grow. So some of you are wasting your time. For those of you on the other side of this card, they're just never going to grow. And so this staying in a relationship with them is just going to remain toxic because they're not going to grow, they're not going to open up and get out of the situation that's toxic. So for those of you that are in that situation, you do need to stand in your righteous defense with that one, because they are not your line tribe. And because you are here at this reading, you are on this open growth. So they're not your line fighting trouble, because they're not. That's just for the some of you. So what you're fearing with that lack is, well, these people being absent out of my life, I've known them for so long, could be family. I'm going to be lacking them in my life. I can't imagine my life without them. I can't imagine that my life would be happy without them. If they're causing you this much toxicity, you aren't going to be happy with them in your life. And I've experienced this. There's some people in my life that wouldn't grow, and they stayed stagnant, and they were holding me back. And sometimes you just have to move away. And that's painful, and that's really hard. And that's where you're going to have to really tune to your higher self, and you're going to have to really trust that everything else is working out in your highest good and alignment. And if that's someone that you need to walk away from, that's why. So you'll have to look at this. It could be at a job. A job is not working for you because the people are harsh. Your employers might be harsh. And that could also be where you're fearful of a lack. Gosh, I need to walk away from this job. The boss is horrible. The people are horrible. I am miserable. I'm staying stressed the whole time. I'm in constant stress and fighting because I'm just not aligned with these people. It is not working. They're causing me stress. But I'm fearful that I'm going to not have enough money. And I really do need to walk away from the people in this job. I'm walking away from this job because of that. And I'm having a tough time making that decision because I'm fearful. And this is where you need to have that plan and strategy and tune to your higher self and be who you really are and see what is in alignment with you, because that will bring to an end all of this defeat that you are feeling in this toxic situation. And that's what will bring you to that victory and celebration. And you're going to have to really trust and have faith. Have faith in the universe. And it is all working in your highest line. Again, the moon card came up. And again, that is another reference to Pisces. So let me wrap you up with, usually I wrap you up with an Angels and Ancestor oracle, but that's how we began. So I'm going to wrap you up now with the Magical Times Empowerment cards. These are new for me, so I'm still trying to learn the title. Okay. Not a bad reading. Your ego's got you a little bit in a place of fear. I understand that. That can feel really scary. I get that. But you're not in a bad place. Just surrender to your higher self. Have that faith. I promise you, when you do, and let life unfold, it works out. I promise you. I know it's really scary because your ego wants to stay in control. But what you can do if you're in a sticky situation right now and it's not working out, you can have a little talk with your ego. See it as a little toddler, because it is a little toddler. It never grows up. And say, hey, I know you're scared, but sticking in this situation thus far, it's not working. We're not happy. We're miserable. Your real goal is to get out of this misery, and it's going to take change, and it's going to take some faith. You're going to come through okay. You're going to get your wishes to come true. You've had that card show up. Okay, so let's see what we got here. These are magical times. Alright. Okay, the first one's not reversed. Awareness. Oh, perfect. Get you a pretty card there, pretty fairy. Awareness. Pay attention to the subtleties. Look with new eyes. There are signs and omens everywhere. So you've been feeling this tug. That's why you're here. Make those plans and focus. Those strategies. Go back to your higher self. Your higher self and your ancestors have been giving you messages. You've been getting signs. Oh man, I hope the gerbils are not making too much noise. You've been given signs. Heed them. They're true. They're coming from your ancestors. They're putting those signs in there in front of you. They really are. I'm going to pause the video for you here, because I'm scared the gerbils are making too much noise for you. Okay, I'm back. They stopped, so I'm just going to move them. Okay, the next card is the energy. Now, it did come in reverse. I'm holding that bright for your visage. So it's in reverse. We need to pay a little extra special attention to that. I can say that. Life force is flowing. Open yourself to receive the power from within. You are the life force, because you are the source itself. And we have to tune in and remember we are the source and truly find that power within. And a great way to do that is practicing falling back to the I am and getting out of the story of the avatar a little bit. Just falling back, and remember, going back and observing your avatar. Call out your name and observe it having its emotional fit, having its fears, and see that it's having its fears. As soon as you can do that, you're remembering who you really are. You're coming from the space of who you really are. So if it's hard for you to do that, especially when you're in an emotional situation, one of the best things you can do is look at your own avatar and describe it. Say your avatar's name. So like what I would do is say, okay, looking at Seqkat. Seqkat's over there. Seqkat has long hair, she wears lots of rings, and she loves cats. While I'm doing that, I am not in the perspective of Seqkat. I've pulled out of the perspective of Seqkat. I'm not in the perspective of Seqkat's avatar. I'm in the perspective that I am, who has focused a thought to play the avatar Seqkat. And as soon as I come out of that space and observe Seqkat, the avatar, I'm falling into more space and place of peace. I'm coming back to who I really am, be who you really are, which is the source, love, light, bliss, the source, love, light, energy that you really are. And so you can practice it by doing something small, like just simply observing the character of Seqkat. Has long hair, wears rings, loves cats. And then when things are tough, what I can do then, if Seqkat's having a hard time with something, is, okay, observe Seqkat, and she's struggling with XYZ, and is causing her to feel ABC. So that gets out of me and the perspective of Seqkat, man, I got this problem, I don't know what to do, and I'm so frustrated. It gets you out of that. Or, man, that's really hard, and life sucks, and I'm so sad. It gets you out of saying, I'm sad, I am frustrated, I am dealing with this challenge. It puts it all away, gets you a space. Seqkat, the avatar, is dealing with the challenge of ABC and is causing her to feel XYZ. It pulls you out and gives you that space. And that is where you're coming back to who you really are. And if you practice that more and more, it's really helpful. The Untethered Soul, Michael Singer, really good book to help you with that. Muji, he's got many books, he's good with that. He's on YouTube. Bentina Massaro, he's on YouTube, he's really good with that. The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle, that book, he's really good with that too. They're very beneficial to help you practice that even more and help you learn more about that. It's really good reading, guys. You're headed in a great direction. Your higher self is ready to take you to your wishes coming true. All you have to do is work with that ego and trust it. That's all you have to do. And it's going to bring an end to all the defeat that you've been feeling. It's really good reading. Just got to work with that ego. And you can do this. I know you can. I've done it. So can you. I believe in you. Until next time, much love and much light. Okay, welcome. If you chose the Amethyst for this week's pick a card reading, an important message from your ancestors. Okay, so keep in mind, this is a general reading and I have this tuned for many of you. So tune into what part of it that it aligns with your particular relative reality. So with that being said now, your general theme card is the Knight. Be brave and honest. Okay, so with this card, this is a warrior card. So this is talking about being brave, but also being sensitive. We got roses back there. And there's actually a tear going down his cheek. And one of the bravest things and the strength, the greatest strength, is also being honorable. And a lot of times we think that is the exact opposite, but think about the courage it takes and the strength it takes to be vulnerable. And sometimes we are fighting so unnecessarily because we're just fearful of being vulnerable. So tune into that. Listen to what's pertinent for you. Are you fighting to protect yourself because you don't want to be vulnerable and getting nowhere and bumping heads? So a warrior must fight with the integrity of who the warrior really is. So you got to tune into what is really important to you and fight with that integrity and call on to your spirit team to assist you in that way. You're actually fighting with love in your heart, so to speak. And it's like not necessarily an actual fight, but you happen to stand up for what's important to you, what's the love that is inside of you, who you really are, with that true vulnerability, doing what is right within you. So we need to tune into that. Sometimes we're just fighting to protect the fear we have inside of us, and that's not getting us anywhere. And then that becomes an inner war and an inner struggle within. And think about it, when the body starts fighting within itself, that's like cancer. It's self-destruction. So when you're having that inner war, that's self-destruction. You're not bringing out what's best for you. So you need to tune in and see if you're having that type of inner war, and surrender to your higher self. Surrender to love to ease that inner war. Now, if you've done a mistake in your outer world, take responsibility for it. Own it up. Because protecting again, because you're scared to be vulnerable, it's just going to cause more discord in your outer life as well as your inner life. Because even if you know you made a mistake and you're not owning up and you're not taking responsibility and you're not apologizing it with whomever the situation is, you're going to have that inner war still going on. Even if you lie and you manage to cover it up and make it look like you didn't do it, inside you're going to know. And inside you're going to be feeling like, you're going to be splitting yourself apart. Your higher self and your ego are going to be at war. And again, it's going to be causing those problems. So take ownership and take responsibility. Apologize and say, I want to do what's right to move forward. What can I do to make this right? Step up. That's really calling on that being brave and honest. I apologize. And sometimes it takes bravery to be honest. But that's what that's calling for. And if there's justice that's needed, trust that it's coming. Surrender to your guidance and your spirit team. And trust that they will bring justice. Surrender and give it to them. I apologize, man. I'm going to choke here. Trust that. This is a tough card. This is facing what's on the inside. And I want to cough so bad. I apologize. Okay, so let's move forward. So I'm going to pull up an entire tarot. And then, as I've been switching it up lately, after I pull up the entire round, I will then pull up your clarifying round immediately afterwards, and then start reading the cards for you. We might have our entire row at one go here. Gosh, wow. They were quick. Yes, wow. I love it when that happens. I really do. All right, now let's pull up your clarifying round. And I want to give a shout out to, while I pull up the clarifying round, to my subscribers and all my new subscribers. I'm so grateful to have you here with me. I love you so much. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm glad to have you here with me. And I want to give a big thanks to all of your likes, oh my god, the one I already flipped. This is actually flipped in the first reading. And we finally found it. Couldn't find it before. It's meant for you. Okay, for a second. I want to give many thanks for your likes, your comments, your bell notifications as they help me in my algorithm. They help me to grow my channel, and that means the world to me. Thank you so much. I love serving you and assisting you all, and the more I grow, the more I can help, and it just means the world. Thank you so very much. And I'm going to give a special thanks to all those lovely comments, because I'm in the dark over here reading for many of you. It's a general reading, so I love to hear your actual story and how it aligned with you, and that's just awesome. That's just a little personal enjoyment that I have, so thank you for those. I really appreciate that. Let's see if we can get you 2 more cards over here. Got 1 more. And then, if you by chance, got 2 more, that's fine. If you by chance need a personal reading, I do offer those, and you can find the link to those in the description box below. And keep watch 2 now. Last week I started doing outtakes at the end. You can click on the timestamp that matches those if you're interested in laughing at, perhaps with Seqkat'Tarot, as I am human and I do make the mistakes and thought I'd share them with you. May or may not have it in this video, but most videos I do, so keep watch for those and then videos from here. And oh, we got an extra. Oh, we got an extra. Okay, that's fine. 2 to clarify that one. All right, so let's see what we got. All right, so the first thing we have is we've got the Hermit card. So yeah, we need to go in with some of the feelings that we're having about having to be vulnerable. For this one is going back to the one where we need to take responsibility and ownership. We do need to go within with that. Yeah, definitely. And then it's being clarified with the Strength card. So for some of you that are having to take ownership for your own mistake, that's hard. And that is being vulnerable to do that. And it takes courage and bravery. So we need to go within, ask our higher self for guidance and help and assistance to do that. And they're telling you to have strength. It does take strength to do that. And have faith that's going to work out for you. It could be a mistake at work, which you might be scared that for repercussions at work, maybe losing a position, but in actuality that is going to show the integrity you have as a person, and it will work out better for you. It could be owning up to a mistake that you made with someone in a relationship that will again show the integrity and will actually strengthen the relationship by owning up to it. So you're going to have to look at it. I'm sorry guys, for some of you, it may not be you. It may be someone you know, or it may be you. Some of you may have done something outside the law and you're being called to step up. And that's a painful one. But you're going to feel much better and more aligned with you if you step up, take ownership, and make amends for this. That's what's going to work out better for you. And that's a hard one, guys. And I'm sorry for that one. I'm feeling that one come in. You have my condolences on it. It's hard. It's hard to do that. I know. But that's what's going to work out for best for you. Okay, so yeah, some of us are not heeding your intuition. And we're having a hard time making the decision. So this is making this decision. I think this might definitely be going back to owning up and taking responsibility for a mistake. Your intuition is guiding you and nudging you and saying this is what you got to do. We're thinking all of these horrible repercussions of it, and we're really having a hard time dealing with this choice because it's really difficult because the ego is going into survival mode and it's scared for its own survival with this. It's going to work out better for you if you come clean. So that is for some of you. That's what I'm getting for that. Some of you too, just for you, just to be courageous, to look at what's important for you too. So this is going to be a different group. And have integrity to follow through with what's important to you instead of what's an easy path for you. And this is not about a mistake, it's just an easy path. You could be resisting doing something that is a calling in your heart, but it's hard to do. And you're not hitting your intuition and you're stuck on that decision, but that is the path you're being called to because that's what's going to lead you. And this just could be growth in a relationship alone. Being vulnerable. Being that warrior that comes forward and lays down his sword. And be so affordable. But with these roses here, I mean, the picture that's coming to me is seeing this is the Knight card, seeing a knight kneel down and lay down his sword and offering a rose. He's not being the feisty warrior. He's coming with love in his heart. So whether this is just reparation in a relationship, or owning up to something in a relationship of love, or maybe owning up to a mistake. But this is what I'm seeing. This is about love. Choosing that love. It's going back to that. So that's a visual thing. So that's relative to some of you. Most of you, this is about you being the knight. And this is what your ancestors are coming through. The message for this. Some of you, I'm hearing, a knight will be coming to you. Some of you, but not as many. Okay, so this is about going and doing that which is ideal for your heart. Being that, like I said, putting down that sword, bringing down forth the rose. That's like a symbolism of going for that which is of your heart. And that is what is really being called, because you're experiencing the anxieties that you've had and fears that you've had. You're actually experiencing them in your relative reality. And it's time to follow the heart, move towards the heart. And here we've got the Knight of Pentacles as well. So we're calling on the Knight again. And it's in reverse. This is tough, guys. This is really tough. This is like we're not making that movement to bring the form in our reality that we want to experience, because we're stuck. We're stuck with those emotions, and they're causing this Knight, this warrior, to just stand still and pause, because there's a war within. This is what we're really dealing with, that war within, and we've got to solve that war within and own up to our heart. I'm really getting with it. This is a tough one, guys. It's not easy. Not easy, but you can do this. You're here. You're here at this reading. You can do this. Making preparations, yes. We need to make these preparations. That preparation is going with them. And what we're doing is we've got the Queen of Swords in reverse here. Now, she's really good at being neutral. And this is a different... This coming in reverse has a different meaning for me than usual, but this is the impression I'm getting for it now. We need to be the Queen of Swords, and we're not. And what the Queen of Swords does is she comes into a neutral position. We've got to step out of the emotions that are keeping us from being the honorable knight that we usually are. We actually have emotions impeding us with that. And she is good at stepping out of her emotions and seeing things from a neutral perspective. And for me, she is good at getting you into the I am perspective. Get out of the avatar, where all the pain is, and seeing things from the avatar perspective, and pull back out of it and see the avatar outside of you. There's my avatar. And my avatar is having this experience and is struggling with it, and this will help you see coming into the I am, coming more into peace. They're struggling with these emotions that they're having, and that's okay. You're witnessing and observing it. That's okay that they have these emotions. That's completely okay. If it's hard to get in the I am perspective, see the character for who it is and say, okay, like for me, I'd say, okay, my avatar, Seqkat'sTarot over there. She has long hair, she wears rings, she loves cats. That's how you get into it. Once you're doing that, I'm not being Seqkat'sTarot who wears long hair and the rings, loving cats. I am observing Seqkat'sTarot who has the long hair, wears the rings, and loves cats. I've stepped into the I am, who I really am, the avatar. That's your first step you can do, just to practice getting into the I am, especially when you got heavy emotions. And then just step out of it and see it. Okay, there's Seqkat'sTarot over there having these heavy emotions. She's feeling bad about something she's done, for example. Or she's feeling defensive and fighting, and she needs to lay down her swords, and it's difficult for her, because this helps you to see it from an observatory position instead of seeing it from the emotions, and emotions are clouding your mind and confusing you and making it difficult for you to make choices. And step out of that space so where it's easier to make those choices. So that's the preparation that you're needing to take with this coming in reverse here. You need to become the Queen of Swords. You need to step into that, and that will help you. There has been some conflict here. Perhaps conflict engaged in whatever the situation is, but more so the conflict that I am seeing is that inner conflict between the ego and the higher self. The higher self is calling you to take the high road, and it is really hard because the ego is scared of its mind to take the high road. And that is really, it's in a righteous defense against the higher self. It really is. No. It's definitely fighting. There's definitely an inner war here. We need to lay down that sword. Surrender to our higher self. Surrender. There's going to be laying down that sword and offering a rose to people involved in your life. But first, lay down that sword and surrender to the higher self. That's what's going to really help you. And this is really calling for you to call on the Strength card. The Strength card's come in twice now. While I'm catching this, I'm really bad about this. Hermit card. It's in reference to Virgo, if that's relative to any of you. Strength card twice here is in reference to Leo, if that is relative to you as well. It's hard, but you got to trust. Your spirit team has got your back. The universe has got your back. It's going to work better for you if you come into alignment and integrity of who you are and what's really important to you. And don't let the ego's fears stop you. See those little birds on the cat? They're having to have faith and trust. They look scary, like the cat's going to eat me alive if I do that. It's not. And that's why this is reverse. You're really fearful of that. If you have that strength and you come forward with whatever it is your heart is really calling you for to do that, all will be right with your world. That's what's really clarifying this. Have that strength, have that faith, and all will be right for your world. You can't see it, the ego cannot see how, but I promise you it will. When you come clean like that, it will. They're calling you to bust out the constrictions. Free yourself. You've got a heavy burden on your heart, and it's constricting you, and you need to bust out of it. And that's what will free you. That's how you will find the freedom, is what you're going to have to bust out of that one. This one also is relative to Taurus, if that is relative to any of you. Yeah, because they're trying to move you in the direction of your heart. We talked about this here. But there's grief that needs to be tended to do so. And there's grief here because you're not happy. You are sad. You are not, with this war within yourself, you're losing the war. You're losing the war. So we really need to tend to that grief. Yeah, and then this one too, that is again starting something with the heart, but there's grief to be healed before it can happen because it's reversed. So we really have to work within that heart. You've got remorse within yourself because you're not coming clean and having the integrity within yourself. This is a tough one, guys. You gotta let it go. Oh, this is so tough. I'm so sorry, guys. But I promise you, it will work out better for you. All will be right with your world if you just surrender. Bow down on that knee, lay down on that sword, offer that rose. Whether that's within yourself or to another. And then you'll enjoy the fruits of your harvest. It's going to work out. Everything's going to be right in your world, and you'll enjoy the fruits of your harvest when you can do all that. Whew, tough reading, guys, but just good ending if you can do this. I believe in you. Let's get you an oracle card from, learning this one, the Magical Times Empowerment Guide. I'm totally not reading this. Cards. I can't do that with this. I'm going to learn this deck soon, and I'll be able to tell you this. Good, hungry. 11:50 p.m. I have one more reading to do. I have cats to feed, myself to feed. Oh. One more reading to go. I can do this. Okay, guys. We have here Kuan Yin. She's all about compassion. And this card says mercy. Have mercy on yourself. Come clean. And the universe has mercy on you. We are human. We're going to make mistakes as humans. Let compassion fill your world. Offer kindness to all living things. What you give, you also receive. Have compassion on yourself. I'm really getting that. Have compassion on yourself. Some of you, I said, there's going to be night bowing down to you, offering you the rose. They've made a mistake. This is going to go back to that one too. Have compassion on them. When they're laying down that sword for you and offering you that rose, it's been a fight. It's been an internal war and struggle. It's been very scary and hard for them to do that. And when they are doing this, they mean it, and they're coming to you from their heart. They are operating from that love. And it's been hard. Their ego has really made it difficult. It's been scary for them. Have compassion on them. So for some of you, you're going to be a recipient of this. For some of you, you are the one that must do this. So if you're the recipient, have compassion on the one coming to you. And if you are the one doing this, have compassion on yourself. It's going to work out. All will be right in your world. Have faith. Tough one, guys. You can do this. I believe in you. Hang in there. I love you. Love you too. Until next time. Much love and light. Okay, welcome if you chose the Smokey Quartz for this week's Pick a Card reading. An important message from your ancestors. And keep in mind, this is a general reading, so have this tuned to many of you in your unique relative realities. So tune in to the story that aligns with you. So let's see what we got for your theme card. And you have Traitor. Now this one did come in reverse, I took the picture not reversed, so as not to scare people not to choose it, because it might be just for you. So we need to pay a little extra attention with it being reversed. And it says, exchange energy to create abundance. Okay, so what I am getting from this card here, as some of you are creative and gifted. Some of you are spiritually gifted, some of you are like created in being artistic or something like that. You have a talent or something there. And your ancestors are reminding you, give forth of your creation, because your kind of heart is kind of calling for that. But it's scary to do that because the ego doesn't trust that it'll have enough sometimes. It feels like it has to do the mundane, normal stuff all the time. And you're being called to come into this venture. And you're being reminded, as you give of yourself, of who you really are, the world prospers from you. So the universe makes sure that you are providing the resources you need to prosper as well. So we need to have a little faith with that. And I'm just being reminded like of a childhood memory of like parental suggestion, you know, you're going out there to compete, to get a job, to get money. It's all a dog-eat-dog world, competing. Some of you might have some of this type of social programming or social conditioning. We have a tree in the background. Come back to the source of who you really are. That's just story. It's just conditioning and programming. You weren't born with that programming. And if you had been born with someone that didn't have that programming and preach it, you would have never had the programming. Free yourself. This is really big for somebody. Free yourself. Big on that word free. Of that programming. Come back to who you really are. And be you. Share your gifts. The universe will take care of you. That's a really strong impression I'm getting forth right there. It's just been conditioning. Understand conditioning. We can watch the world today and see how the people that want to be powerful and dominate, and they're greedy, and they're just trying to make money for the sake of making money and making more money. And we see the poor suffer as the rich try to get richer. That comes sadly from a fear of lack. And these people in these mighty positions that step on the little people to get there, they're in actually grand more fear than all the little people. Because the little people are actually trusting way more in the universe. And those people in those positions are not. So, trust. The universe has you. Let life unfold for you. Okay. So, I'm going to pull up an entire row of tarot. And then, I'm doing a new procedure. Done it in the last couple of readings. Oh wow, we're coming out here already. I'm going to pull up an entire row of clarification cards and then read the cards for you. And thus far, because I've said it in the last two readings, and it usually happens in every reading, I haven't made any outtakes that would be funny. You know, you gotta make those human mistakes. Thus far, they haven't happened in this reading, but keep an eye out on those in case they do, like the last weeks I did. In case you want to laugh at or laugh with, say yeah, with the outtakes. Life is funny. Might as well laugh at it. Okay, there we go. 2 more cards. Perfect. Alrighty. Okay, and as I shuffle the clarifying row, those of you who've been with me should know by now, I'd love to give a shout out to my subscribers. And welcome to all my new subscribers. Thank you for being here with me. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm glad to have you join me here. And I also want to give my truest appreciation for all your likes, your comments, your bell notifications, all of that, because it really does help me in the YouTube algorithm. So I really, really do appreciate you helping me grow my channel, because I'm just here to serve as many as I can, and it means the world to me with you helping me to serve many more. Thank you so much for that, truly. And I also want to give special thanks to the comments, because I really enjoy those, because I'm over here in the dark for many of you. I've gotten tuned to each one of your unique stories, so I really enjoy getting to hear that unique story. So it's just a little enjoyment of mine. So thank you for those. I really appreciate it. And if you by chance do need a personal reading, I do offer those, and you can find the links to those in the description box below. Let's see if we can get you one more clarifying card. I can say clarifying. Oh, we're gonna shuffle. And ready to go? And we hear laughing in the background. Fortunately, it's not exactly reading the cards. I live with people. Okay. Oh no. That many? Okay, they have a lot to say on that last clarifying card. Okay. I'll be here a second for that one. Alright, so let's see here. We're talking about sharing our creations, whether you be spiritually gifted or like artistically gifted. And it could even be a talent. Maybe you're just a really good teacher and you're really good with kids. It could be something along those lines too. And some people think, well, I don't want to be a teacher because I don't make enough money. Don't let lack of resources hold you back, so to speak, is what I'm really getting for that. Don't let ego's fear entrap you. Free yourself. Yes! Starting right off here, the suggestion here is to go for that which is ideal for you. And what is ideal for you? That which marries your heart. That's what fires you up. That which you are innately skilled for. Definitely do that, because without doing that, this is the Queen of Pentacles coming here in reverse. You're not getting your true fulfillment. And the true fulfillment is not only manifested in the form like Pentacles. It's also manifested in the joy of the mind being free, of not being trapped with the survival of the heart, enjoying doing what it loves, and of the heart and doing that which is passionate for. So you want to get the whole ideal, because when the Queen of Pentacles comes upright, she has got it all together. Family, business, material, all of it, emotional, heart. And she's a good one to seek wise counsel for all of that. So going for that which is ideal for you is perfect. And that's what you should be going for, because by not doing it, you're not going to attain it. So they're letting you know about that. Well, and some of you have really been struggling with a decision on this one. You've been thinking about this. It's been calling you. It really has. And it's been a hard decision for you, because the ego really wants to stick with that which will keep it surviving. Ego has two motives. Number one, survival. Number two, to avoid as much pain as possible. But it has this little third motive too. It wants to be happy. And sadly, it undoes that getting to be happy sometimes when it's fiercely clinging to that which will keep it from not surviving. And the thing is it clings to that which it survives. It doesn't understand letting it go, you'll still survive. So sometimes we have to communicate with the ego. And we've got the Eight of Pentacles here. So yeah, you got the skills. And this is like a little bit of a life lesson that you're learning here, to let this go. Surrender to the higher self. Trust your higher self. Trust the universe to take care of you. So that's a bit of your life lesson here. Because you're also a master at what you're doing. Some of you are still working on your skills, and that's fine. But some of you are going to be really good at this. But it is being hidden. It's being covered. Because of egos sticking on the old treadmill life of conditioning. A big universal societal story that was created. You came in here too to live your particular unique story. That's just a background game environment, so to speak. Write your own story in that game environment. You can do it. The universe completely supports you with that, because you are the source. Great day that you train. You are the divine source love light energy, and you're an aspect of it. And you allowed your soul, source divine love light energy, focused a point of bringing you into a soul aspect, and then your soul focused to the thought point of bringing you into this avatar and experience in this life. And you came here to experience those desires from the source. And what are those desires from the source? That's what stirs your heart, that which gets you happy. So follow that path. You will definitely always be supported by that. Yeah, and you being gifted in this area, you're ready. You're ready for this. You're ready, and this is a new journey for you, and you're ready to go for it. But you're timid. You're scared of getting burnt here. You can see the little kitten, like it's scared to get its little paw burnt here. And that's the ego being scared. And by being hesitant and holding back, you are just feeling so overburdened and overwhelmed by the Ten of Wands here. You've been carrying too much of a load. Life isn't fun anymore. It's just the drudgery. It's just the work. It's just adulting all the time. You can adult, but... And I like how Neil Walsh puts it, work shouldn't feel like work. It should be a joy. When you're living your passion, you are doing a service, but it brings you joy. And when you are in joy, sharing your service, that which gives you joy to do it, and it's unique and innately easy for you, that's when you're sharing the joy into the world. You're putting out a higher vibration and you're best serving the world than somebody doing something they don't want to do and they're doing it with a low vibe drudgery. Then you're passing that vibe out. So the best way to serve the world, find what stirs up your heart and serve from that capacity. Yeah, again, we do. We've got the Queen of Pentacles here in reverse because what you've been doing is not working. We just went over that again over here. And so we need to turn it around because that is when your harvest comes in. Your harvest of all the abundance that you're looking for. And the abundance is not always finance. The abundance is the joy of doing what you're doing. Your harvest will come in when you flip this up and you go for what is right for you. It definitely will come in for you on that. Okay, so I see some of us have experienced what looks like some family that perhaps has betrayed us. And this could be some of where your data that your ego is getting through, okay, I'm being called to do this, but somehow, somewhere in my life, some of you, this is not for all of you, some of you may have experienced where a family member kind of screwed you when you did this. Or, this is going to be for the majority of you. You have the family betraying you, quite literally betraying you because they're feeding you the societal story. And that's what I started out with, the societal conditioning. And this is what your ancestors are trying to let you know. It's a story. It's a societal conditioning. It's not what you were born with. It's not the story you were born with. Let it go. Let that societal conditioning go because that is what's betraying you. They are telling you the story. You've got to survive. You've got to survive. You've got to survive. You've got to survive. You got to do this the long, hard way to survive. And they're not telling you the true story. You have the capacity to do anything your heart truly desires. Your higher self can bring it to you, and your ego doesn't understand how. And when your ego doesn't understand how, it's timid to take that step towards it. And that's where you have to surrender that ego to the higher self. And then you get inspired, and you get inspired with a baby step. You know, okay, you can feel this little desire and you're on A and you want to get on Z, but the ego's like, oh man, no, I gotta be on Z immediately. No, you gotta take the baby step. You get inspired to take the step towards B, and then B is going to lead you to C, and as you go through the entire alphabet of the journey, that's what makes you the person that's Y, that's ready to be the person that's Z. So it is about the journey too. So that's another thing that can inhibit some of us to hold back our creations. But we're excited about it, but I want to be on the other side of it, where I've already gone through the journey and I'm already attained it, and I'm a well-oiled machine, and I'm already prominent in my area of expertise, and I'm already great, and I'm already got there. Then you're skipping the journey of getting there, and that's what you came for. The journey. The journey is a part of your story of even getting there and ascending up with it. So don't let that societal conditioning betray you. Because with societal conditioning betraying you, and you heeding it and listening to his advice, things are not right in your world. Things don't feel good with you. And they're not good with you because you're not being in alignment with who you really are. So your higher self is over here and you feel all cool in alignment when you're in alignment with it. But ego's over here, oh no, I need to survive. I'm not doing what I really want to do here. So you got all this space between your higher self and your ego. And it's this space right here that agitates you. It doesn't feel good. It's when we get the ego over here, aligned with higher self, we feel in alignment, and that's when things flow. That's when things feel smoother. You feel the smile on your face forming because you feel it just marrying in your heart. So when I'm saying marrying, M-E-R-R, I-N-G, marry, like we're merry and happy. So yeah, that's when things become right in your world. And it looks like too, we're not able to spend time with others that we would love to spend, probably because our time is spent too much doing the things we don't want to do, doing the drudgery. And then you can spend time with those that are aligned, doing that what you want to do, when you can actually open up and do it. So tell your higher self, if you're facing this, I hear the call. My heart, yes, agrees, and I want to do it, but my ego is scared out of its mind, and I don't know how to do it. Help me ease the fear of my ego, and then show me what steps I need to take. And then take baby steps. You do not have to take giant leaps. Take baby steps. And once you take that one big baby step, give your higher self thanks, and you see the little success of that baby step, then ask them for the next step, and the next step, and the next step. And the next thing you know, you're going to look back, and you're on letter G in the alphabet. You're like, wow, how did I get here? And you're going to keep proceeding, and you'll eventually get to the attainment of the goal. Because yeah, they're definitely too, they're reconfirming again this overwhelm. 10 of Wands is showing up here again. It's 10 of Fire. And it's reversed again. You're really overwhelmed, overburdened. And when it comes in like this is a time of delegation. And with this particular reading, it is time to delegate the responsibility that the ego has been taking upon itself to the higher self. The higher self is like the adult, and the ego is like the toddler that never grows up. And we need to let the higher self, the adult, be the adult, and let the ego play and enjoy life. We really need to do that. And again, beginning, you're being called to start a beginning. Ace of Cups, but it's in reverse. You're being called to start the beginning, but it's the beginning of the heart. But we have some grievances to clear up. We have some fears here to clear up. We have some pains here to clear up. So we need to pay attention to that area first, so then you can just surrender and let things start coming to you. But surrender, validate the pains and fears that your ego has. They are very, very valid, and have a communication with it. We want to work with that, but surrender to your higher self. Good news is, everything is working out in your highest good and alignment and perfection of it. That's why you're being called this. The only thing is, it's in reverse, which means it's still coming in your greatest good and alignment. You're just having trouble believing it because your ego is stepping before you and telling you a lot of stories based on past data. And whatever past data ego sees happened, it's going to paint and project the future will do exactly the same thing again. It loves to believe in that. Don't believe in that. Yeah, and the Hangman, that's what we got to let go. We got to let go of that past data beliefs. We got to let go of everything. We got to let go of the belief that things are not working at your highest good alignment. We got to let go of we aren't good enough. That one's coming in here. We aren't good enough to do what we want to do. Some of us are believing that too. And that's sustaining it. We have to sustain ourselves. We've got to let go of that. Seven of Cups, yeah, and this is causing you confusion. A great deal of confusion. You're not happy in life and you're confused as why. We need to be flipping this one up right here, and this is all about choosing your desires. And we got ego really pulling down on you guys. The way this reading's coming in, the way these cards are coming in, ego is really pulling down on you. We've really got to upright this card and look at our desires and believe we can have our desires. Because you truly can, and that's what this card is all about. Telling you, as you give into the world from your point of creation, whatever it is, your heart, the universe will provide back for you and resource you, because you're giving out and it's going to give back to you to continue to give out. It becomes a never-ending loop. It becomes a flow. It's recycling. It's perfect. Yeah, the Chariot. Ha! Okay, so we got some new things coming here, guys. And new things coming in here fast. And they are positive. That's really good. When this is reversed, though, we need to rein in our ego. So by this coming in, it's telling you these new things can come in, and they can come in fast when you rein in that ego. They are assuring you with that. This one also represents Cancer. It is by a chance relative to any of you, and I'm glancing over here to make sure I didn't have any more sneaky horoscope cards that trip up on me sometimes. And I forget them. Yeah, 3 of Wands, but that's some preparation to do. We really do. And that preparation, again, is working with that ego so you can free yourself from the burden of the ego, so then you can move forward easily to the inspiration and those inspired steps of what to take. Yeah, and you're out of balance, too, here with the Justice coming in here. And that you're being out of balance, too. Okay, some of you I'm hearing, it's like you're going through a little bit of a karmic cycle. So, okay, yeah, message from the ancestors. Okay, some of you have the weight of ancestry coming down your bloodline, and you are bearing the burden of the weight of your previous ancestors coming down your bloodline, and they're begging you to bust that loose and free it. Because as you free it, you clear it up for them too. And it's hard for our minds to comprehend because we think in linear terms. So while we're on the planet Earth, we think in linear time scale. But in reality, time is not linear. And I'm talking reality outside the Earth. So time isn't linear. So when your loved ones have crossed over, ancestors from ages ago to even your previous generation, when they cross over, they're out of that linear time. Linear time no longer applies to them. Even before you were born here, linear time never applied to you. It only applies in this story game. This is a story game of environment. So it only applies here. So they're asking you, please, bust free, go for you, being who you are, exchanging your gifts. Get into that. There's been a lot of previous years of hard toil, hard labor, doing things for the sake of money with capitalism. It's been going on for a long time, guys. And then many of you you've got heritages of enslavement as well. They're wanting you and asking you to bust it free. They're asking you to balance the scales, change up that karma, So this is not only a gift you'll give yourself, this is a gift you give the generations coming after you and the generations preceding you. This is a grand gift, as well as the gift you touch with others when you bring out your joyfulness and your loving gift from who you really are. This is great. This is a great message. You are being called for something so much bigger than your social programming of doing the hard drudgery work. And so much bigger than that societal story. So much bigger. Ah, lovely, 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 lovely. I like that. And then the Seven of Wands. Yes, righteous defense. Stand against those stories. Stand against that social programming. Be who you really are. That's what you're really being called to do. And this will be successful. It really will. Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap you up now with I'm going to learn these cards one day. There's still a new deck here. The Magical Times. I'm going to read this without my glasses. Empowerment cards. Yes. I think it's Neil Donald Walsh says, don't work for the body, to feed the body, clothe the body, shelter the body, and let your soul die. It's a good one to remember. Feed the soul, because that's the essence of the body. Without the soul, the body doesn't exist. Okay, so I need these glasses. Okay, let's see what we have here. Oh, healing. Yes, we need some healing. That programming we do, we need to heal from all that programming. Because that's what makes it difficult for the ego to stop being tense and resisting and surviving. Because that programming is running it. It's like a subconscious programming. And that's where we need to get the healing. So I'm going to read this where you didn't come in reverse, so we want to put a little extra attention. This healing is really needed. So I'm going to read it to you now. That was a beautiful card. Bless all in need of healing, hope, and love. Spirit grant us strength and wisdom. Guide us to the path of wellness. This is really a beautiful card. And that's what it's all about, guys. Get that healing. And then give your gift. And you might have to start small while you're maintaining a job or something that's keeping your finances in. Start small, start creating. Start sharing your gifts, whatever they are. They may be artistic, they may be a gift, it may be a talent, it may be spiritually gifts. Start small, start sharing it, and then let that grow. If that's the steps you need to take, if it's too big to do anything bigger, take it small, let it grow, and let it slowly get bigger and bigger to where it can overtake the survival means. But definitely get some healing. Believe in yourself. You are more than this human being that has been conditioned by society. You are the source. Love, light, energy, yourself that is infinite. And you can do anything. You truly can. You just gotta believe. Alrighty, guys. Until next time. Much love.